Hi, I hope you have been good. I hope you have been well. I hope you are improving day by day. If not day by day, at least week, month. Slow improvement is also good. Today, I want to talk about how this condition, PCOS or hirsutism, affects relationships. It seems silly to many. How does a disease affect somebody's? I mean, it would make sense to a lot of people, especially people who who are suffering like me, who have my condition, will understand. Uh, and it's not that I'm not aware of my looks. I know that I'm in general a good looking person, a decent looking person, if nothing else. I've got my eyes, nose, and lips in the right place. um, but when you develop hirsutism, okay, so let me talk about hirsutism and PCOS a little separately because for me, I started noticing hirsutism first, and for me, that has been a bigger trigger than the PCOS itself. However, because PCOS means higher androgen levels, and there would be a difference in characteristics and personalities from the average woman who does not have PCOS, right? So I want to talk about that also. Uh, to begin with, in hirsutism, it starts with insecurity, but PCOS may not necessarily start with insecurity, right? Once it becomes apparent a little later in the relationship. So, for example, say you have PCOS and you don't have hirsutism, which is a great possibility, which also is the case with many women. They have PCOS but no symptoms of hirsutism. So, let's say those women are in relationships, right? Now, because you have heightened androgen levels, you also have issues like ego. You also have issues like being reactive. You also have issues of competition. Okay, so let's just start with these three. These three are enough to create havoc in a relationship, right? Um, Also, men are different nowadays. They are not as resilient as they used to be. I know that men get affected very badly because of emotions, but there was a time when they could actually stay away from it or still handle it. But nowadays it feels like they are the drama queen more than the women. So that is also happening. So, from the woman's perspective, a woman who has PCOS, who has heightened androgen levels, would have a natural tendency to compete with the man she is and show high levels of insecurity, which means fights, quarrels, and even spying on him. And because of your ego, you will not easily express your feelings. You will not be able to process your feelings as easily as a woman, and your mind will not be at peace as much as an average woman with no PCOS has, right? If you observe, I've seen. I've observed women who have PCOS but not hirsutism. Um, and when I compare them to myself, I see that they are still calmer than me. They are still able to tolerate bad behavior, whereas I cannot tolerate bad behavior. I will just tell you off immediately that you've done a bad job. Or even if I take it for some time, it'll keep gnawing, it'll keep bothering me in my head until I actually vent it out and tell the person that they have hurt me, which is not the case in women. They do not express explicitly, right? And they have a lot of patience to begin with. See, nowadays you have this case called situationship, right? Where it's not official, nobody knows if they are in a relationship, they are in a state of confusion. And it is usually initiated by men. Now, whatever the reasons men have, they might have the reason for being hurt. They were hurt in the past. They are probably testing this relationship. They're probably checking if they can move on. And they find it very difficult to get out of a relationship. So they might not even break up with you, even if they're uncomfortable. So that's how situationship works. But for women, see, situationship is not a new concept. If you ask me, it has existed for ages, but it has not come to the forefront, and there was no Gen Z to actually catalyze the whole thing, right? Um, so even then, situationships existed. A very interesting example would be of Dimple Khanna, Dimple Kapadia, and Akshay Kumar. They was said to be in a situationship way before the internet got Facebook and Instagram. Uh, but women, with the patience they have, with the softness they have, they can actually turn uh, situations around. They are like water, Water looks harmless and soft, but when it comes with force, nothing can stop it. It also changes a lot of situations, a lot of geography. So women have that power. And if you are someone with this condition, then I know that nobody would have told you all this, right? I mean, parenting is only to an extent, and they can only say ye karna chahiye, wo karna chahiye. They will not give you a proper explanation to all these things because they don't do a lot of research. They just follow what their generations have been telling them, right? So I mean, if nobody has told you, then I think you should hear me out, and if you want to, I mean, if you want to change your mindset, if you want to improve your relationships, then you might want to work on a little patience, because men are who they are, but they don't necessarily rule our fate. They don't decide our lives. So whatever they say, we may agree or disagree. Say you agree to a situationship where the guy says, I am not ready for a relationship, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll go for a situationship. You cannot lose your mind over it because you have agreed to it. Number one. Yes, the man will play games. He will try to be dramatic with you, emotional with you, and then try to distance himself from you. And that is when it will agitate you. Like all this while you're acting as if you're emotionally attached to me, and then suddenly when I reach out to you, you're like, oh, I did not ask for this. I did not. So that is quite natural in men, okay, unless they are trapped. Unfortunate, unless they are trapped, they will not come into a relationship. Or yeah, so the trap is in multiple ways, right? They've got multiple ways of trapping men. One is get pregnant, Another thing is just don't care. Keep your life busy and don't care. Just give him, let him do whatever he wants. If he talks to you, you can be nice to him. But when he's not talking to you, you don't have to be nice to him. You can be forgetful and careless and just focus on your own lifestyle, your own friends, your own I don't know, beauty hacks. Work on yourself. The other one would be, of course, getting parents involved, or there are other psychological ways. These are the two easier options. So yeah, if you want to trap a man, go ahead and do one of these. But if you don't want to trap a man, and if you want him to automatically love you or automatically be with you, then you have to have patience with the person. You cannot lose your cool. If he is misbehaving with you, be calm and calmly tell him that I do not approve of this and please do not do it. Now, women have the habit of tolerating a behavior multiple times. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and tolerate those behaviors until you've reached a limit and you say, enough is enough. I cannot carry on anymore. I have given you enough warnings, but you don't listen, right? And one more thing you must do is that even though it might break your heart, you must distance yourself from the guy you love if he has been hurting you. It is very important because for women, they make their men their world and then they forget about their own goals. And when you have a breakup, you're back to square one. From scratch, you have to start. And those women who have been in multiple relationships, they would have lost a lot in their lives, emotionally, financially, and even goal wise. Whatever goals they were pursuing, they would have just set it aside, set all the goals aside and just focused on the man, which is not a healthy thing to do in today's day and age, right? There was a time when everything was fixed. Men had to pursue you, men had to marry you. But today, that is not the requirement. Even women don't need to marry men, they don't need the security or the protection. So, it would be better that you focus on your own well being and let things unfold uh, peacefully rather than creating a ruckus. So, that is about PCOS. Now, what happens in hirsutism is that you are insecure from the beginning, right? And if a guy likes you in spite of spending some time with you, and you tend to think that this person will accept you as you are, and but you still have that fear of being caught or being found out, or and sometimes the partner may point out, he'll be like, okay, you have hair there and you have a hair on chin. And at that time, what do you say? You know, you have to explain this to this person that I have a medical condition. And one more thing happens in PCOS or hirsutism is that once you realize that you cannot have children, you are infertile, you actually lose the fear of pregnancy and you become open to sex. You become open to sexual encounters. And that is a big red alert uh, because you do not feel good after being spending time with someone you don't know, you have not committed to, or you have no love for. I mean, you might have had a crush. And another thing that happens to women is that they uh, release oxytocin in their bodies, and that increases the feeling of love. So when women have sex with men, they fall in love, and when men have sex with women, their love hormone decreases, right? So the oxytocin decreases in men and it increases in women. So the longer uh, the man waits to have an encounter, have physical intimacy with you, the more he falls in love with you. Uh, Similarly, the more a woman keeps away from sex, she can actually control her own emotions and she can control the guy's emotions as well. So that is that. I know it's not easy. I mean, see, there are many stories which actually prove that the world runs because of sex, because of what is that called? I keep forgetting it. That word for intercourse. No, was it intercourse? Yeah, maybe one of these. So that is what I have observed, and you would think that a man would not leave because he's had intercourse with you, or I mean, that is a matter of development after that, right? Although they may not feel as much love as they did earlier, they may not leave because of their own fears, their own whatever they're facing, and you can actually capitalize on that. You can take it slow. I mean, I'll give you a long lecture on how to hold your man on some other day. But for now, this is what I want to say about how it can affect your relationships and how you can save your relationships by not acting out, by not behaving erratically, right? Besides that, I think it's very important that you spend some time with yourself, quiet, calm. You could be writing something for yourself, or you could be thinking, you could be talking to yourself. And of course, closing your eyes always gives you that peace, that calmness, that relaxation. So you can do that. And you will see subtle changes, if not blatant changes, at least subtle changes you will see in your lifestyle. And that is enough to get you a lot of clarity. Make sure that you keep yourself happy. That is your responsibility and your duty. Nobody else will come and do it for you. That's all. I hope you take care, and I'll see you in the next video.